Your Social Security check might not arrive next month. And I'm not talking about a delay. I'm talking about it not coming at all. If you're one of the hundreds of thousands of Americans still receiving paper checks in the mail, September 30th, 2025 changed everything. The government just pulled the plug on paper Social Security checks forever. No more envelopes, no more trips to the bank with a physical check. It's done, finished, over. And here's what nobody's telling you. If you haven't switched to direct deposit or set up a direct express card, your money could be sitting in limbo right now while you're trying to figure out how to pay your rent, buy your groceries, or afford your medications. This isn't a drill. This isn't a rumor. This is happening right now, and nearly 456,000 Americans are caught in the middle of this massive transition. Some are confused, some are angry, and some have already missed payments because they didn't know what to do or who to call. But here's the good news. I've got you covered. My name is Tony from Retirees Benefits, and for the last several years, I've been helping people just like you navigate the confusing, frustrating, and often terrifying world of Social Security changes. I've read through the executive order that made this happen. I've spoken to people who work at the Social Security Administration. I've reviewed the official guidelines, the exceptions, the workarounds, and most importantly, the real-world problems people are facing right now trying to make this switch. And today, I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know so that you don't miss a single dollar you're entitled to. So before we go any further, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button right now. It takes 2 seconds and it helps me reach more people who desperately need this information. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because I post updates like this every single week. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Now let's get into exactly what happened, why it happened, and most importantly, what you need to do about it right now. On March 25th, 2025, President Donald Trump signed an executive order with a very official-sounding name. It's called Modernizing Payments to and from America's Bank Account. Sounds bureaucratic, right? But what it actually means is this. Starting September 30th, 2025, the federal government stopped issuing paper checks for Social Security, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, tax refunds, and any other federal payment. The government says this change is about 3 things: saving money, preventing fraud, and speeding up payments. Let me break down each one, because these aren't just talking points. These are real issues that have been plaguing the system for years. First, cost. According to the Social Security Administration, processing and mailing paper checks costs about 50 cents per check. That might not sound like much, but when you're mailing out millions of checks every single month, it adds up fast. Electronic payments, on the other hand, cost about 15 cents each. That's a savings of 35 cents per payment. Multiply that by tens of millions of beneficiaries over a full year, and the government estimates they'll save approximately $750 million annually. $750 million. That's money they say can be redirected into the actual benefits instead of paying for paper, envelopes, printing, and postage. Second, fraud. This is the one that really gets people's attention. Every year, according to federal data, approximately 500,000 Social Security checks are either stolen from mailboxes, lost in the mail, or outright forged. 500,000 checks. Think about that. Criminals know when Social Security checks go out. They know what the envelopes look like. They watch mailboxes in certain neighborhoods, especially in areas with older populations. They steal the checks, forge signatures, and cash them before the rightful owner even knows the check was supposed to arrive. The Social Security Administration has entire fraud divisions dedicated to tracking down these cases, reissuing payments, and trying to recover stolen funds. It's a nightmare. Electronic payments completely eliminate that risk. If the money goes straight into your bank account, there's no envelope to steal, there's no check to forge. It's just safer. Third, speed. When you receive a paper check, you have to wait for the mail to deliver it. Then you have to physically go to a bank or check cashing place, wait in line, deposit or cash it, and then wait for the funds to clear. That whole process can take anywhere from 3 days to over a week, depending on where you live and how fast your local post office is. With direct deposit, the money hits your account on the scheduled payment date. You wake up, check your balance, and the money is there. No waiting, no wondering if the mail came yet, no trips to the bank. It's instant. So, on paper, pun intended, this all makes sense. The government saves money, fraud goes way down, payments are faster and more secure. It's a win-win-win, right? Well, not exactly, because here's what the executive order and all the official press releases don't talk about: the real human cost of this transition. And that's where things get messy. Let me tell you about my own mother. She's 74 years old. She's been receiving Social Security checks for almost a decade now. And for all those years, like clockwork, that check would arrive in her mailbox on the 3rd of every month. She'd take it to her local bank, deposit it, and that was that. Simple, reliable. She understood it. Then, back in July, she got a letter from the Social Security Administration. It was full of government language about mandatory transition to electronic fund transfer and compliance deadlines, and all this jargon that honestly scared her. She called me in a panic, thinking they were cutting off her benefits. I had to sit down with her, read through the letter line by line, and explain that no, they weren't taking her money away. They were just changing how she receives it. But here's the thing, she didn't have direct deposit set up. She's never been comfortable with online banking. She doesn't even have a computer. So we had to go to her bank together, fill out forms, verify her account information with Social Security, and make sure everything was set up correctly before that September 30th deadline. And she is one of the lucky ones. She has a son who understands this stuff and could help her navigate it. But what about the hundreds of thousands of seniors who don't have that support? What about the people living in rural areas where the nearest Social Security office is an hour away? What about people with disabilities who can't easily travel or use a phone for long periods because of hearing or cognitive issues? What about people who are homebound or who don't have family nearby? Or who simply don't understand how banking works because they've been using cash and checks their entire lives? Those are the people getting hurt by this transition. And that's what I'm seeing in the comments on my videos, in the Facebook groups, in the forums on Reddit. Real people sharing real stories of confusion, fear, and, in some cases, missed payments. One woman wrote to me saying her 82-year-old father, a World War II veteran, missed his October payment entirely because he didn't realize he needed to call Social Security to switch to direct deposit. He thought the letter was junk mail and threw it away. By the time he realized his check wasn't coming, it was too late to fix it quickly, and he had to wait weeks to get the issue sorted out. Another person told me their grandmother, who has dementia, kept insisting her check was stolen because it didn't arrive in the mail. She didn't understand that the system had changed. She just knew her money wasn't there, and it caused her tremendous stress and confusion. These aren't isolated incidents. These are real consequences of a policy change that, while well-intentioned, was rolled out too quickly for some of the most vulnerable people in our society. Now, I'm not here to argue whether this change is good or bad. Honestly, I think in the long run, it probably is the right move. Digital payments are safer, they're faster, they're cheaper, but the execution matters. And right now, there are still people falling through the cracks. So let's talk about who this affects most and what you need to know if you're in one of these groups. If you're receiving Social Security retirement benefits and you were still getting paper checks, you need to act immediately if you haven't already. The same goes for people on SSDI, that's Social Security Disability Insurance. If you're on SSI, Supplemental Security Income, same thing. Veterans receiving VA benefits, you're included in this. Railroad retirement recipients, federal retirees, anyone getting any kind of federal payment, this applies to you. Now, here's the part that gives people hope. The Social Security Administration has said there will be exceptions. If you genuinely cannot access a bank account, if you live in a remote area without financial services, or if there's some other legitimate hardship, you can request an exception. But here's the catch. You have to request it. It doesn't happen automatically. You have to contact the Social Security Administration, explain your situation, and they'll review it on a case-by-case basis. And let me be brutally honest with you. Getting through to Social Security on the phone right now is a nightmare. Wait times are often over an hour. The local offices are understaffed because of budget cuts. And a lot of the people calling right now are in the exact same situation you might be in, trying to get help before their benefits get disrupted. So what do you actually do? Let me give you a clear step-by-step action plan. If you haven't done this already, do it today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Step 1. Figure out if you're affected. If you're still receiving paper checks in the mail for any federal benefit, you're affected. If your money is already being directly deposited into a bank account, you're fine. You don't need to do anything. But if you're not sure, call your bank and ask if you're set up for direct deposit from Social Security. They can tell you in about 30 seconds. Step 2. If you need to switch to direct deposit, you have two options. Option A is to set up direct deposit into your existing bank account. To do this, you'll need your bank account number and your bank's routing number. You can find both of these on a check from your account or by calling your bank. Once you have that information, you can either call the Social Security Administration at 1-800-772-1213, go to your local Social Security office in person, or if you have a My Social Security account online, you can update it there. The online option is honestly the fastest if you're comfortable with computers. But if you're not, calling or going in person works just fine. Just be prepared for long wait times. Option B is to get a Direct Express card. This is a prepaid debit card issued by the federal government specifically for people who don't have bank accounts. It's free to get. There are no monthly fees for basic use, and your Social Security payment gets loaded onto the card automatically every month. You can use it like any debit card to buy things, pay bills, or withdraw cash from ATMs. To sign up for a Direct Express card, you can call 1-800-333-1795, or you can go online to usdirectexpress.com and apply there. It usually takes about 10 to 15 days to receive your card in the mail once you apply, so don't wait until the last minute. Step 3. Confirm everything is set up correctly. This is the step people forget, and it's the one that causes the most problems. Once you think you've set up direct deposit or gotten your Direct Express card, call Social Security back or check your My Social Security account online to confirm that your information is in the system and that your next payment is scheduled to go to the right place. I can't tell you how many people have told me they thought they were all set, and then their payment didn't show up because there was a typo in their account number, or the routing number was wrong, or the Social Security Administration system didn't update properly. Double-check everything. Step 4. Watch your account on your next payment date. This is critical. On the date your payment is supposed to arrive, check your bank account or your Direct Express card balance first thing in the morning. If the money is there, great, you're all set. If it's not there by the end of the business day, you need to act fast. Call your bank first to make sure there wasn't an issue on their end. Then call Social Security immediately to report the problem. The sooner you catch it, the faster they can fix it. If you wait a week or two thinking it'll just show up eventually, you're going to be in for a much longer, more frustrating process. Step 5. Protect yourself from scams. And this is huge. Whenever there's a major change to Social Security, scammers come out in full force. They know people are confused and scared, and they use that to steal money and personal information. So listen to me very carefully. The Social Security Administration will never call you out of the blue and ask for your bank account information. They will never threaten to cut off your benefits unless you pay a fee. They will never ask you to verify your Social Security number over the phone if you didn't call them first. If someone calls claiming to be from Social Security and asks for any of that information, hang up immediately. It's a scam. If you're worried the call might have been legitimate, hang up and call the official Social Security number yourself at 1-800-772-1213. Don't call any number the person gives you. Look it up yourself or use the number I just gave you. Now let's talk about what people are saying online, because this gives you a real sense of what's happening on the ground. On Reddit, in communities like r/Social Security and r/retirement, there are hundreds of posts from people sharing their experiences. Some are positive, people saying they made the switch and it was easier than they expected. They're happy they don't have to worry about mail theft anymore. They like that the money just shows up in their account automatically. But there are also a lot of posts from people who are frustrated and scared. Older users saying they don't trust banks. People saying they tried to call Social Security and couldn't get through for days. People saying they set up direct deposit but the payment didn't arrive, and now they're behind on rent. People saying their elderly parents don't understand what's happening, and they're trying to help from across the country, but it's hard to do remotely. On Facebook groups dedicated to Social Security recipients, the sentiment is similar. There's a lot of anger directed at the government for not giving people more time or better support. There are people sharing tips on how to get through to Social Security faster, what times of day have shorter wait times, which local offices are more helpful than others. And there are also a lot of people offering to help each other. Younger family members posting on behalf of their parents or grandparents asking for advice. Community organizations sharing resources. It's actually pretty heartwarming to see people coming together, but it also highlights how badly this transition has been communicated by the government. Experts and advocacy groups have weighed in too. Organizations like AARP and the National Council on Aging have put out statements saying they support the move to electronic payments in principle, but they've criticized the Social Security Administration for not doing enough to help vulnerable populations make the transition. They're calling for extended customer service hours, more staff at local offices, better outreach to rural communities, and clearer, simpler communication materials. Some have suggested the government should have extended the deadline or done a more gradual phase-out, maybe starting with voluntary adoption and only mandating it after a few years, once most people had already switched on their own. The Social Security Administration, for their part, has said they're doing everything they can. They've sent out millions of letters. They've posted information on their website. They've done outreach through community organizations. And they insist that no one will be left behind, that exceptions will be granted to people who truly cannot access electronic payments. But the reality on the ground doesn't always match the official statements. There are still people who haven't gotten the help they need. There are still payments being delayed or missed. And there's still a lot of confusion and fear out there. So where does that leave you? It leaves you with a choice. You can either take action right now to protect yourself, or you can wait and hope everything works out. And I'm going to tell you straight up, hoping is not a strategy. This change is real, it's permanent, and it's not going away. The government is not bringing back paper checks. This is the new reality. But here's the empowering part. You have more control over this situation than you think. If you act now, if you follow the steps I just gave you, you can make sure your payments continue without interruption. You can avoid the stress, the confusion, and the panic that comes from not knowing where your money is. And if you have family members or friends who might be affected by this, please share this video with them. Send them the link. Sit down with them and help them make the switch if they need it. This is one of those situations where a little bit of help can make a massive difference in someone's life. Imagine being 80 years old, living on a fixed income, and suddenly your only source of money stops coming because you didn't understand a letter you got in the mail. That's terrifying, but it's preventable, and you can be the person who prevents it for someone you care about. Now, before we wrap up, I want to make sure you're getting all the information you need going forward. Hit that subscribe button right now if you haven't already. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. I'm constantly monitoring changes to Social Security, Medicare, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, all of it. And the moment something new happens that affects you, I'm making a video about it. I also want you to do something right now that's going to help both of us. Go down to the comments section and let me know. Have you already switched to direct deposit, or are you still trying to figure this out? If you've made the switch, tell us how it went. Was it easy? Was it hard? What problems did you run into? And if you haven't done it yet, tell us what's stopping you. Is it confusion about the process? Lack of access to a bank? Difficulty getting through to Social Security? The more we share with each other, the more we can help each other navigate this. And if you found this video helpful, please hit that like button. It makes a huge difference in how many people YouTube shows this to. The algorithm pushes videos that get likes and comments, so every single one of you who takes 2 seconds to click that thumbs up button is helping me reach thousands more people who need this information. I also want to point you to a couple of other videos I've made that are related to this topic. I did a video a few weeks ago about how to set up a My Social Security account online. That's incredibly useful if you want to manage your information digitally and avoid phone calls. I'll put a link to that in the description and in the pinned comment. I also did a video about avoiding Social Security scams, which is more important than ever right now. Check that out too. Look, I know this whole situation is frustrating. I know it feels like the government is making your life harder instead of easier. And I know that for a lot of you, especially if you're older or if you're dealing with disabilities, or if you just don't have a lot of experience with banks and technology, this feels overwhelming. But I want you to know something. You can do this. Millions of people have already made this transition successfully, and with the right information and the right support, you will too. You're not alone in this. There are resources available. There are people who will help you. And I'm going to keep making videos to make sure you have the information you need every step of the way. The key is to not wait. Don't put this off. Don't assume it'll all work itself out. Take action today. Call Social Security. Set up your direct deposit or get your Direct Express card. Double check that everything is correct. And then check your account on your next payment date to make sure it worked. If you do those things, you're going to be fine. Your money will keep coming, your bills will get paid, and you'll have one less thing to worry about. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for trusting me to break this down for you. And thank you for being part of this community. We're all in this together, and I'm here to help however I can. I'll see you in the next video.